Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section, where we'll talk about what actually happens in Us. So Us is fucking stupid, in a sense, and so basically, I don't know if I should just jump right into it.
Let's brief synopsis, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Okay, so Lupita's character, when she was younger, she went off on her own, went into a house of horrors in Santa Cruz, little mirrors and shit, and she meets herself. But this is a real, actual doppelganger of herself. It fucking scares the shit out of her. She runs out of there. Her whole life is kind of turned upside down. She turns reclusive, and her parents are like, how do I get my daughter to, open up? And she's like, it's crazy. And it turns out, and then we go to a different family. We go to a family who's going on vacation, who's going to a lake house, who's going to Santa Cruz, and it turns out that the mother of that family is the same character that we saw previously, and so she has a problem with, maybe going over here, and all these coincidences start to happen, and she's like, I feel like this is a bad omen, like I'm going to meet that one girl again.
Yeah, because she's been traumatized.
She's been traumatized, and he's like, husband, nobody, no, don't worry. And just then the lights go out and the family shows up outside. You saw in the trailer. And I was like, man, this is unceremonious. We're just going. We're going now. And then the shit goes crazy.
And I like how it has a common sense. So
right.
The stuff they would do, I would do.
Exactly.
There
is one non-common sense thing, and I was holding it away from the review. I want to talk about it in spoilers. Get a fucking gun! God damn it! This movie shows you why you need to own a gun. All right?
On vacation.
No, it's a fucking
house.
cabin. Number one, you need a gun for bears, critters, hunting.
When you went on your lake house,
there's guns. There was
you brought
guns. I'll bring my own guns. And then, let's just say there's no guns at the cabin and no things over there. They come out of the cabin location, Joe, and they're in Santa Cruz area, and there's a police car right there that's abandoned. Go look for guns, or go to fucking Walmart. Go wherever you can in order to get a gun. Somebody has to have a fucking gun. And if you have a gun, this movie's over. Because the whole time you're fighting somebody who's holding scissors, and the whole time she has a fireplace poker.
Yeah. They're elusive.
They do move pretty crazy. One guy crawls on the floors, and another, and then Lupita's doppelganger is a really good ballerina, so she can like fucking matrix this shit.
Well, didn't she kind of know what she was gonna do? Aren't they supposed to be?
Yeah, so
we'll get there.
We're playing around a little bit with that. Anyways, but now it goes crazy. So it turns into a slasher flick, and I'm like, oh, cool. But you don't want any of the main characters to die, and I'm like, nobody's gonna die. Oh, at first I thought maybe the husband would die. But he doesn't die. He survives. He manages to kill his doppelganger using the stupid fucking boat, which is a joke in the film because it's a piece of shit.
Well, so that's the part that I actually really had a problem with. It made no goddamn sense whatsoever. That the Abraham, the giant, the husband, I don't remember that, but the evil husband is named Abraham, right? And so he puts him in a garbage bag and drags him into the lake, and everyone else is just getting stabbed and it's over. And he's
no.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him out, put him in a garbage bag, and I'm going to drive him in the middle of the lake, and I'm not going to stab him.
I have an explanation for this, and I think Jordan does a good job in everything except for the guns to explain stuff. This particular family is special because the husband is obviously the husband to Lupita's doppelganger's character. We'll call her Crazy Lady, right? Yeah. Well, that family is special, and she specifically explains, what do you want? She's always like, what do you want? What do you want? And she explains, she grabs her head and fucking shoves it in, basically starts cracking glass. She's pressing on her head so hard. And she's like, we're going to enjoy this. We've waited so long. And basically, the point is, we're going to fucking kill you. And we're just going to, we're going to enjoy killing you. And we're going to take our time. We're going to play with you a little bit. And so she has her children go off and play with each other. She lets the daughter run, and her crazy daughter is a faster runner than she, and she chases her down. And she lets the son play with the other son, and they're playing with little magic tricks and stuff in the closet. And the father just beats the big father out, takes him out on the lake. I don't know what he was gonna do. He's gonna drown him, I guess.
Yeah.
He puts him in a garbage bag first.
He
went real deep with.
I know.
I'm gonna take my time with him because it's convenient. It's
and
how
he's gonna
you'll
watch
escape.
him drown in the lake.
He's
something.
not gonna watch him. He's in a garbage
But anyways.
bag.
So, they all fight them all off in clever ways. And this I liked because I was like, okay, how are you going to get out of it? And each of them have to master themselves and find it within themselves to become fighters themselves. And they manage to do it, and they escape. And then something happens that I didn't expect. I was like, oh, so you go on over to this family that they met on the beach. Tim's character, he has a wife that hates him, but it's like a hate-love-hate thing. And, they just show they're bickering in the house, and the daughters are being bitches and things or something. They're just being stuck up. And out of nowhere, boom, this family just comes up. They have doppelgangers too, and there is no playing around here. Okay, that is exclusive to the crazy lady in Lupita's character and her family that they're playing around. Because everybody else, it turns out, there's doppelgangers of everyone. Well, we don't know exactly everyone.
It's a lot of people.
We know there's probably doppelgangers enough to make a chain across the
hands
across America. So it's this little drop at the beginning of the film that, everybody come together and we're going to do this thing in 1987 where everybody holds hands. And I'm like, that would not work. I mean, some people would fucking heat exhaustion, or some people would be in forests and stuck. It's like, no, this shit doesn't work, okay? Because there would have to be sections that doesn't work. But no, there's no sections where they're not holding hands. If you're in the water, you're underwater and you're dying, because all of these crazy doppelgangers do that. They kill all their real versions of themselves, and then they go and make a statement by holding hands. And you're like, okay, so how many people is that? How many doppelgangers out there? There has to be a lot. And then at the beginning of the film, they try to explain it by saying there's a lot of underground tunnels.
Sewers and tunnels.
And there's lots, miles and miles, and there's no purpose at all for some of these. And I guess that all of these underground networks are all secret government labs that created clones of themselves, and they eat rabbits.
To be controlled.
But to be controlled, because if you clone them, they share a soul, so there's like a tether link, but like the mind control didn't work.
Yeah,
and
that's when the girl was saying in the car, she's like, the government puts fluoride in the water to control us.
Yeah. So there's lots of little things. So it's a control experiment that failed. But you see how stupid that is, because it doesn't make fucking sense. And you look under there, and people are actually mimicking the same things that they're doing up top. So they're like riding roller coasters, and then it just shows them doing this, and stupid shit like that. So I guess if you're fucking taking a shit, they just take a shit right there, and I didn't see any bathrooms in the place.
They mimic.
Okay, fine.
Well, they eat nothing but rabbits, but I think you starve to death if you eat nothing but rabbits.
Exactly. But I don't know. It didn't seem like. But Jordan's not concerned with that, and that's what I liked. He's not. He's just concerned with the concept and the idea and putting it out there. The logic stuff. He's not concerned with explaining every small fucking detail to this thing, right? And I respected that because it was working, because it was being executed so well. And because there were enough of the, okay, please explain. Okay, he did explain it. For the things that you care about. And so you forgive that. It's called suspension of disbelief. And here, your suspension of disbelief is tested, but it's not completely broken.
Mine was broken, which is why I had to take at least a point off, if not like 2 points. Because the movie was great until they kind of showed all every single person has a doppelganger. And they show a scene where there's like nice teenagers feeding each other French fries, and then it's like a doppelganger feeding like rabbit ears to another doppelganger. Yeah. And it's like, this is dumb. I don't like
now
this.
You guys are starting to make me realize there's my negative one. Okay, there's the one that I should have given it because it breaks the concept. But for me, guys, I know it's stupid, and I know the internet can pull it apart, and you can nitpick the fuck out of it in terms of logic, but does that make it an inferior film that the concept doesn't make sense? No, because to me, no. Because in order to get these fantastical stories, in order to get fascinating things, we have to go beyond the realm of reality. We have to go beyond what is actually possible in certain stories. So you started to make me feel bad, but no, I'm re-stealing myself.
Well, here's the thing. To me, what broke is like, who controls who? Because there's this one part where the little kid just starts walking backwards.
He can control his evil doppelganger. Likes to mimic him in person,
but that's what
the other ones didn't really like.
I
know, but you're right. It's inconsistent in the fact that this little kid likes to mimic.
And and Lupita's character.
What?
I don't know who controls who.
Well, they mention that they don't necessarily control, that they're linked and they have shared memories and experiences and all of these other things.
I think a lot of that is just interpretation visually, like especially riding the roller coaster, the feeding. They probably don't do that on a daily basis, and that was probably
brought up cesarean
that was probably filmed
section
for the audience's benefit, because it could be that they're just down there like just fucking living life, and now we need a leader. We're rudderless, we're directionless. We need a leader, and it turns out it's Lupita's character that leads them, this crazy lady, and takes them up, and then this shit happens. So I'm thinking a lot of it is left to interpretation. Maybe some of this isn't really happening. Remember, it is Lupita's character that's recounting the story. So maybe it's an unreliable narrator, and what we're seeing isn't exactly reality. I'm going to, lean on that. But here's the big twist, sort of reveal there. We have a sort of a boss battle. Our family overcomes the doppelgangers, right? But it seems like everybody else was not able to. I guess nobody owns guns or something.
Knives. The scissors are really powerful.
Yeah, and this fucking city is obliterated, essentially. And it's just, our family driving around. But eventually, Lupita's character, the mother, it goes off on her own. She goes into the house of mirrors to try to find herself and find the leader and, I don't know, kill her. And the family's like, hey, just let your mom do what your mom needs to do. You know what I mean? She goes down there. She finds the leader.
She finds like a series of tunnels and escalators that just go like a mile down into the earth.
Abandoned, subways and things like that. But then it turns into government facilities and shit, where they're housing these people. Anyway, she's in there in like classrooms, and you can tell that maybe she's the leader, or she was the leader, and she's inspired these people and gave them direction. And then she goes on the monologue, gives her monologue, and then they fight. It's time to fucking kill you. It's our time in the light now. You've taken advantage of everything given to you, and now it's our time. And I think that's where a little bit of the social commentary is. It's the underclass, and we're living pretty up here, and you're taking advantage of everything, and you're just stepping on the people below you and things like that. And eventually those people are, they're just like you. They're human beings too. We are human beings too, as she says, the monster says.
Well, yeah, that's what she says, that line. It's like, who are you? We're Americans.
Yeah, we're Americans. And then, see, that's a little bit of social commentary. I think it's like Americans sort of stepping on each other to stay on top, and then realizing that at any moment it can change or whatever. That's just my interpretation. There's probably more. They fight, but it's like a ballet, because they're both, into dance, and, at least the crazy... the crazy lady's really good at dodging and doing her little ballet. And it seems like our mother character, Lupita, is just wildly swinging, and she's starting to let out guttural screams and stuff. And there are moments throughout the film that you're like, wow, she's getting real fucking brutal, and she's a really good fighter. And then, she takes her out, and she, like, stabs her, and then she, like, chokes her with her handcuffs, breaks her fucking neck. It's all really brutal. And then she finds her son, because I forgot to mention that she captured her son, and he's hiding in a thing, and it looks like her son's a little scared of her, and she's like, everything's fine now. And then it's revealed that when she went into that, crazy house
in 1986,
they swapped positions. And the mother character who we've been hanging out with this whole time is actually one of those doppelganger monsters that have just basically swapped spots. She had her own family. She's acting like she's normal, but she's really one of them.
That's why she couldn't speak for years.
And then she smiles a little bit. Right, you go back to those flashbacks. That's not my daughter in there. And you were thinking, oh, it was because of the trauma. No, it was because she was learning
and I really like
everything.
when it just pans out. You see all the chaos, and you see that line forming through the forest.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so the line's there, and she made it out. And it's sad a little bit, right? That this little girl, the real little girl.
I like unhappy endings.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was talking about. The mist.
Like chaos. Yeah.
Our main character dies. They lose.
Well,
she fucking loses. And then you realize this fucking crazy bitch who you've been like, kill her, get rid of her and stop her, is actually the one desperately fighting to get her life back, to get revenge on somebody some fucked up person that really wronged her. And she fucking loses in the most brutal way. Yeah. But she turned into a monster herself. And it turns out that, this Lupita, the doppelganger Lupita, was a monster initially and then had to suppress her monster urges. And then she's living amongst us. But then she goes back to being a monster in order to kill, in order to overcome. And it's just that interplay about, the struggle. And it's fascinating. And then she smiles. And I think only her son knows that she's a doppelganger.
Well, how would the son know? I mean, it doesn't like that. He came out of her body, like they specifically described in one of the scenes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the list of grievances, it's like you had a cesarean section, which means I had a cesarean section in the underground, and there was probably in a sterile environment. They just,
right.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
yeah.
Like, the implications are horrifying.
But the son can know because I think he listened to. I mean, he was there, stuck inside.
It'd be kind of hard because, honestly, they had their own.
I mentioned
they had their
hear,
little
but they
handshake. She's like, puts her hands up, but like that's what she does whenever he's scared, and they did that. And
they have a bond. So you're saying that it's not necessarily a bad thing, And
he's just probably traumatized. I don't think he thinks that she's not that she's a doppelganger. I mean, if
she is a doppelganger,
but he has no idea. And
I think he
never figured it out.
For the majority of the film, they didn't. The characters interacted constantly, and never once did she said, "You ripped me from my life and switched me in 1986, and I've been living your life." And it's been really easy to say that the entire time. So,
which is I guess another plot hole. Fuck!
It's not a plot hole. It's just some things are left out, right? It's just
because it's like, look, you did this to me. Like, I can't talk because of you, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you could have simply said something like that. But then, yeah.
She's like, I've been living in the shadow. Now it's my time to come up. I was like, you were already up.
And I've been waiting for this moment. I've been thinking about it a long time ever since we met. It's all talking in code so that we can have the reveal.
Yes.
Okay, it's a movie.
It's a
fucking movie.
It's good.
It's a good movie. And there are some problems, and I said that in the review, that logically you could break this film down pretty easily. But because it's executed so well,
go check it out.
In the soundtrack, in the cinematography, in the direction, in the acting, in the tension, in the slasher elements, even in the horror elements, worth seeing. All around. Anything else? Other things. There was a hobo, kind of homeless guy or something, and he had Jeremiah 11:11. Yeah. This was part of the coincidences, but I want to know what.
The kid points the alarm clock. It's like, oh, it's 11:11.
What is 11:11? Does anybody know?
It's you see it and you're supposed to make a wish or something. Right. That's what the. Oh, you want to know what Jeremiah 11:11 says?
Yes.
That's not what you read.
Or not 11:11.
That's why I thought you had it. I thought somebody had it up. That's why we were doing this.
Jeremiah 11:11. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which thou shalt not be able to escape, and they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." Eerie.
Yeah, he's just. Yeah, everybody's going to fucking
no
die.
One will escape.
Shit's going to happen to you, and you're going to cry out for me, but whatever. Essentially that's what that is. In case you wanted to know what Jeremiah 11:11 was on that. What else? So
anything else you can think of that's weird now that we know that she was switched that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense?
Right, if we go back and think we'd have to rewatch the whole thing.
I mean, it makes sense that she doesn't want to go back to the beach because she knows that she was the switched. I mean, maybe she didn't know that she was switched.
Well, yeah. Why would you ever want to go back to see the crime?
The babies. How are they clones of the children, or did she fuck the same guy? She fucked a clone of the guy, and then they made children. And the children just happen to look exactly like the two children. You see what I'm saying?
They're supposed to be clones.
They're clones, right? So she didn't. But then what is she talking about? The C-section and stuff.
It was in her list of grievances. It's like there was a princess, and you married a prince, but I got to marry that guy simply because he was the doppelganger of him. And you had a girl, and then you had a boy that had to be C-sectioned, and then gave a look. It's like, oh, gross. Like if there's rabbits everywhere, that's not a sterile environment.
But why is she having a C-section if he's a clone? The clone doesn't need to come from her body. That's what we're trying to say.
Well, they don't explain. There's no like pod chambers or anything. Like who knows?
Maybe there is pod chambers.
All we saw were rabbits, and there was no one taking care of those rabbits.
And another logistical thing. They're all wearing the same fucking clothes down there, so somebody had to go shopping to get all the fucking clothes.
They made their clothes. That's why everybody has goddamn scissors.
That's right. Those also they make their own fucking clothes.
Make your own damn clothes.
Damn,
I'm surprised
man.
somebody come out with a fucking
That's
needle.
some designer clothes I saw. There's some
people
complicated
with
shit.
Yeah.
No, Joe. They had to go to the store buy those clothes, so somebody had to go and get them all the accurate same sizes.
Costco. You can buy in bulk. It's cheaper.
Stupid as fuck. And why is it those clothes? Yeah, I mean, because I own a lot of clothes. It don't look like I own a lot of clothes because I wear the same clothes every fucking time.
Because she has that shirt, hands across America.
So,
they're all red.
So a clone of Angry Joe would be pretty damn simple in terms of the clothes department. But apparently all these clothes have closets and closets of all similar clothes, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, it's so fucking stupid. It doesn't work in that sense, but whatever. Joe?
What?
We'll allow it.
Oh.
Joe?
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it?
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it. It's
This
stupid
time.
as hell.
This
And people
time.
are going to call it stupid.
But you know what?
But Joe
I'll
allows
allow
it.
And it was a good film.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's why we allow it.
exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not a global crisis. It's not something.
But we don't know if it is.
We don't know yet.
Oh,
We do see thousands of doppelgangers like going through the
Yeah.
forest and mountains holding
We
hands.
don't know how long those tunnels are.
Shut up,
Miles.
guys. It's not like the United States is gone. Okay,
We don't know
it's
that.
You don't know
no.
that.
There's
It's hands-
helicopters.
What if those are
hands
looking
doppelganger?
at the hands.
Hands
There's
across America.
Uh-huh.
America.
We are Americans.
Are you done? I've been trying to be serious.
Weren't
here.
those helicopters red? Like maybe
Oh
they were
my God!
doppelganger
So yeah, there are
helicopters?
doppelgangers in the fucking helicopters, guys. You heard the theory here first. Tell us your interpretation of the film, since I can't get out
So
my.
tell us what you think.
All right, tell us
yeah.
what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely go out and see this one.
Yes.
We enjoyed it a lot. You can poke holes in it. I look forward to you poking holes in it. But also,
We could do
there's
that
no
with any
doubting it was entertaining as fuck.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys. Be sure to subscribe and ding our dong.
We're still dinging. You're still dinging our dongs, right? Please.
Come on.
Grab some merch. Link down below. We got a new shirt, the Aquila design. I think you'd really enjoy it. And, yeah, thank you so
I
much
don't have mine yet.
for watching. Well, it's because I got you the wrong size. I'll get you the right size. All right? Get your size down below, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.
guys.